Good morning, lady bosses. Donna Manley here. Again, Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Happy to be here. So it's 10 a.m. on the dot. I'll wait just a minute or so for a few ladies to join us. There's one, there's two. There we go. Popping on. 4, 1, 2, 4, boom, boom, boom. Damn, you ladies are good. And up to 4 already. Good morning, Lori. How are you? I can see you all there, but I can't tell for sure who it is. I see Rachel's there. I see Linda's there. Bunny's there. Kitty's there. Awesome. So nice to see you all today. That's great. Melissa, good morning. All right. Before we get started, I just want to say, and this is not coming from any other place than my OCD, but our group's at 197. And my OCD would love to see that number hit 200 because we're so close. So if you enjoy this group, I'd love to have you invite your friends if you think there would be any benefit for them. Some of you have been so awesome doing that. I mean, Jane comes to mind. Melissa's been great at that. A lot of you, and most of you have invited at least a couple friends. But man, I see some people just inviting so many people all the time. And I love it because I just love coming together and supporting each other. So if you have anyone you want to invite, that would be awesome. And I would just be so excited to see it hit 200. That would be cool. So, okay, let's get started. Oh my gosh, there are 6 of you. There are 7 of us. Let's get rolling. So I've got to tell you, on a weekly basis, probably by, hey, good morning, Mindy. On a weekly basis, probably by about Thursday, I'm thinking, what am I going to talk about this week? And somehow, between Friday and Saturday, and sometimes it's not even till Sunday, something just happens, or I see a post, or I listen to a podcast, and something jumps out, and just suddenly it's like, that's what I have to talk about this week. So that's what happened here again. And all that just to say that, listen, if you have ideas or things you'd like to talk about, please share them because I want to serve you any way I can. So please do that. But this was this topic today on why are we afraid of what people will think came from a post I saw. And this is so common and I'm seeing it so much during this pandemic. And I've done it a million times too. I saw a post saying it was such a great weekend. Our kids threw a surprise anniversary party for us. And, you know, we all sat far apart and we all wore masks. And that jumped out at me. That really jumped out at me because I know I'm doing the same thing. We're so quick to make sure everybody knows that we're complying with all the current, extra measures we're taking. And it just made me think, why are we doing that? When you really think about it, why are you doing that? If you didn't say that, and I saw that post and I knew you well, you wouldn't have to say that. I would know you were doing that. If you didn't say that and I didn't know, what does it really matter? It's none of my business. But I think we say it because, especially right now, it's such a sensitive subject that we're so anxious for people to know that we're doing what we should do. And we don't want them to think that we're being rebels and being all irresponsible and not caring about people's health. Good morning, Jody. But bottom line, we're saying that because we're worried about what people are going to think, right? We're worried about their opinion of us. We want them to know we're following the rules and we're doing what we have to do. So I think that's important because that spills over into so many areas of your life. We live so much of our life worried about what people are going to think of us. So that's why I want to talk about it. It's important. And I think women just do that more. Men are so much more like, I don't give a crap what they think. I'm going to do what I want. Why would I care? Because you know what? Men are just so much more often, much more confident than women. Women we've struggled to get where we are and we still can easily beat ourselves up. And so we're so worried about what people will think on every course. So all that being said, we're trying to be in a different place. We're trying not to be judgy, but flip that around. And we're so afraid people are going to be judgy of us, right? And you know what? When we're looking at it, if we don't know, again, I said it's none of our business. Don't waste your precious mental health worried about other people and what they're doing and how they're doing it. You do you and I'll do me. Let's just stop the judgment. Let's just, be kind to each other and not worry about it. And I guess the less judgmental we are with each other, the less we're going to worry about what other people think. Because if we start seeing more compassion, if we start seeing people be more gracious and more kind, maybe we're going to be less worried about this. So why do we care so much about what other people think? Even people we don't know. This isn't just people you know. We're on social media, and I dare to say most of you probably have tons of people who are friends who you've never met and you really don't know at all. But boy, we care about what even total strangers think of us, right? And here's the funny thing. How often do you base your actions on the anticipation of how you think people are going to respond? So you find yourself, it's not just like what you say, but it's what you do and how you're going to live your life. And you do it based on the reactions you know you'll get because you want people to approve. You want people to like you, right? So think about that a different way. When's the last time you didn't do something that you really wanted to do because you were afraid of what people were going to think? Okay, now I thought of a couple situations, and one of them comes out of the fact that I'm a health coach. So I go to a lot of networking meetings, and they're all centered around a meal. We have a meal. So if I go out and I just want to have cheesesteaks and ice cream every time I go out, and that's all you see me doing, is that okay? Should I just do what I want to do with no regard for what you're going to think of me? Now, here's the fine line that we've got to be really careful of, and we've got to discern where the line is. You want to be authentic. You want to live your life not caring what other people think. But by the same token, you need to have integrity, okay? If I'm a health coach, what kind of integrity do I have as a health coach if I always eat crap? Are you going to want me to be your health coach? I mean, maybe you will, because if you think, well, boy, if I can be healthy and just eat crap all the time like she does, I want to know how she does it. No, not likely, because that's not very health focused. So you've got to be able to discern when is the difference between being worried about what people are going to think or whether it's a matter of being in integrity. Okay? If you are a church-going, born-again Christian and you like to preach about your Christianity and your how important that is in your life, but you treat people like crap or you gossip all the time, there's no integrity in that. So you have to walk the talk. You can't just talk about something and then not live it, because you're not going to have any integrity and nobody's going to want to associate with you on any level. So there's a fine line. So we'll come to the solution later. Another way that you might be changing what you do because you're so afraid of what people are going to think. We touched on this last week because we touched on it when we talked about being judgmental. But suppose you choose to wear your mask in the car right now. But then you come home and you start scrolling through social media and you see all these comments about people saying, oh my gosh, people are hitting a whole new level of stupid. I can't believe how many people I passed today wearing a mask in their car. Okay? People are being mean. We shouldn't be mean. We shouldn't say things like that. We talked about that last week with not being judgmental. You don't know why. But the bottom line is, are you going to be tempted to not do that because you're afraid people are going to call you stupid? Here's where the line comes in. This has nothing to do with integrity, but don't compromise what's important to you because a perfect stranger who's driving past you on the road might judge you and might think you're stupid. Who cares? Who cares? Be true to what's important to you. You have to do what's going to feel right and what you're going to be able to look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, okay, I feel good about the choices I made today. And if that's where you are and that's important to you, whether I understand it or not is totally irrelevant. Do what you need to do and just, try and throw off the ideas of what people are going to think. Don't care. Shouldn't care. And if you get to a point where you have a hard time discerning that line, where is it about integrity and where is it about just living my true life? Then my best advice is talk to someone you know and trust to be honest with you in love. For me, that's easily my mom, my husband, my kids. I can say anything to them and I can receive what they say back because I know they love me, but I know they'll be honest with me. If I ask for honesty, they'll be honest with me. So find someone in your life that you trust, to be honest. And if you're not sure, bounce it off them. Let them help make you, help you make the decision as to what your action should be. So when you think about it, think back to where this probably really all started. Probably started way, way, way back before you can even remember. As you were growing up, 90% of you probably wanted nothing more than to just fit in, right? If you were growing up and you were short, you were too tall, you were too skinny, you were too fat, you were too this, you were too that. And I'm just using these words because these are the words that we tell ourselves. We were always just wanting so much to fit in. So unfortunately, we've continued doing that. And now we're adults and we still want to fit in. We still want everybody to like us. So I'm going to give you some ideas that are going to help you to a little better not care about what other people think. Okay. So number one, think about this even when you're just worried about what other people are going to think. Their negative comments are always about them. They are never about you. Let me take a break. Bunny says, am I human doing a human being who I should be rather than worried about doing what others see, the phony mask I'm wearing? Absolutely. That's what this is. This is about being your authentic self. But again, finding that balance or finding that line between being your authentic self and being in integrity. So absolutely, you're right. But number one, negative comments from people are always about them. They're not about you. You know this. It's very typical of people to want to tear you down because they don't feel good about themselves. If somebody doesn't have a lot of self-confidence or they feel inferior, if they tear everybody around them down, then they've elevated themselves a little bit more because, oh my gosh, all these people are pieces of crap. So I'm suddenly a little bit better. So remember, it's about them. It's not about you. Remember the fact too, that in the world we live in now, especially in the world of social media, because that's where we're seeing it, social media has put people in this protective bubble where they feel like there are no repercussions for what they say and what they do. And therefore, there are just no filters anymore. You've seen it with your friends. You've seen your people you really thought were your friends. When you get into trying times and times that are really controversial, like election years, like pandemic, people are so on edge anyway that they're so quick to just be really mean and to just really rip you a new one if you don't say something that's in agreement with their beliefs, right? I've seen people say that they've lost friendships. They've been estranged from family members through this pandemic because they can't agree. It's just really sad to see relationships crumble because we don't think the same. I mean, who here really wants to live in a world where everybody thinks the same thing and has the same opinion about everything? Do you have any idea how really crazy boring that would be? I mean, come on, opposites attract for a reason. We want diversity in our life. We want different flavors of ice cream. We want so much experience, and you're not going to get experience or education if everything's the same. So that's important. So let's start accepting it because bottom line, it really is what we want the most. So remember that when you see that on social media. And the answer to that is, if you're seeing all these negative comments on social media, be careful when you post stuff. Stop posting stuff if all it's doing is creating a huge debate, which, turns ugly real fast in these times. So number two, and this kind of goes to what Bunny said, be true to yourself. If something's important, do it. So back to the illustrations I gave, like the health coach, okay? You want to be in integrity, but yeah, sometimes you're really craving a cheesesteak and ice cream. So think about the big picture. You do want to show people that you're living the lifestyle you believe in. I mean, I can remember years ago, my mom and sister going to Jenny Craig, and their counselor or their coach in Jenny Craig was a morbidly obese woman who saw no progress in the couple of years that they did it. So how do you trust someone to help you take a journey if they're not good at that journey? I mean, come on, perfect example. Do you really want your friends who aren't parents telling you how to parent? Because we've all seen that a million times. People who don't have kids are real quick to tell you how to raise your kids, right? And you have no respect for what they say because they don't know. You want somebody who's taken the journey. You want somebody who's living their truth if you're going to trust them into your life to help you live yours. So as a health coach, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that every time I go out to eat with my friends, I have to have a chicken Caesar salad. But it means I want them to see me living enough of a healthy life that they know I believe in what I'm doing, but that I can still live life too and not deprive myself of things that I really love. So it's about the balance. It's about the balance in things. You can find the balance, creating integrity and being true to yourself if you look for it and work on it. The mask in the car, be true to yourself. If that's important to you, if in this time that gives you peace, that gives you comfort, that makes you feel like you're doing what you have to do, then you do it. And don't give a crap about what people are thinking, because that's about them, not about you. That's about them wanting everybody to think the same way they do. And listen, every one of us are passionate about the way we feel about things, especially about the way things are right now, going on now. And as humans, it's very hard to understand why people can't see it the same way you can. You're laying out the facts. You're speaking from intelligence and logic. Why can't everybody understand that? Why can't people feel the same way I feel? But we don't, because we're all intelligent. We all have facts. We all have logical thinking, but our perception of it all is different. And from that perception, we're extracting our truth. So let's be kind. Back to being kind, that we're not all going to think the same way or come to the same conclusions. So live and let live. Let people think what they have to think. And it's okay. They're not going to think like you. So be true to yourself. Next thing is, remember, you have one life. There are no do-overs. This is it. This is all you get. So you're not going to be on your deathbed wishing you worked a little harder or you made a little more money, right? You didn't take it with you, or, it could be in your coffin, but it's not going with you anywhere. But the things people do regret on their deathbed is that they didn't take the time to do the things that were important. They didn't take the time to do things that mattered. And how much are you sacrificing by not doing the things you really want to do because you're afraid of what people are going to think? So you have one life. If it's important, do it. Make sure you do it. And here's a great thing. Ask yourself this question: what's really the worst thing that could happen? If I just am true to myself and I do what I'm going to do, I do what I want to do, I decide to wear my mask in the car, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? People might talk about you. People might laugh about you. Again, you see, that's because they're insecure with themselves. That's all about them, not about you. They might not like you. They might even say bad things about you to other people. So how important is that? What's really the worst thing that could happen? How important is that? Well, number one, if it's people who really know you, then they really know you. Okay? They don't have to wonder why you're doing it. They don't have to think you're stupid for doing it. They really know you. So they know why you're doing it. So they're not going to react badly because they know you. They're the people who matter most in your life. Okay? The people who know you, the people who don't pass judgment whether you're doing what they think you should do or not. They know you and they accept you. So the worst thing that can happen is that people who don't know you might not accept what you're doing real well. And they might say some mean things to you. They might say some mean things to people about you. What does it matter? You don't know them. They don't know you. That's about them. That's not about you. And listen, think about this. For whatever reason, women have this overwhelming desire that everybody has to like them, that everybody needs to like me because I'm a good person and I'm not mean to people. And why would she not like me? Why would she say something bad about me? This is where we go and what we think. But come on, think about it logically. Do you like everyone? And listen, I'm going to define like. I don't mean be nice to everyone. I don't mean be respectful and gracious to everyone, because there's no excuse for not doing that. We all need to be respectful of one another, and we can all be kind to one another. Does that mean that everyone's my best friend? That I can just randomly pick anyone on my contact list and call them on a Saturday and say, what are you doing today? Do you want to hang out? Everybody is not your best friend. Everybody is not the person that you want to spend your very precious extra time with, because most of us don't have a lot of extra time. So that's going to be saved for people you really feel closest to. It doesn't mean that you don't respect everyone or you're not kind to everyone, but it just also doesn't mean you're going to be best friends with everyone. So if you feel that way and everybody's not your best friend, it doesn't think the best of, and you're not drawn to everyone, why would you expect everybody to feel the same way with you? Now, again, there's nothing wrong with expecting just common respect. And if people aren't giving people common respect, then you just don't even need them in your life. But if you don't feel like that about everyone, why would you expect everyone to feel that way about you? Okay? There are people whose personalities are just like not even close to mine, and I'm not drawn to them. And I don't like them. It doesn't mean I don't respect them and I'll always not be kind to them, but they're just not the people I'm going to be drawn to. Okay? So you feel the same way. You feel the same way because every single person you meet is not your best friend. So why would you feel like people had to feel the same way about you? Why do you work so hard to make people like you? They're not all going to like you, but that's okay. You don't like everyone? It's okay if they don't like you. So just try and think about it that way. Like, why do I need everybody to like me? I don't need everyone to like me. So that's okay. Finally, the very last thing, remove any sources of negativity immediately. As much as you can, purge the negativity from your life. If there was one thing I could say to anyone who has any anxiety about anything in life that I think would improve that situation thousandfold, it would be just stop watching the news. If there's something critical that you need to know, if Limerick Power Plant just had a meltdown and we need to get out of Dodge, you're going to know if you don't have the news on. You're going to know. You're going to get alerts. You're going to know something's going on. The important things in life are going to be found. They're going to be known without you watching the news. So if something's going on in South Africa that's really affecting that area and has no effect on you and you don't hear about it, does it really matter? Okay, you don't need to be watching the news 24/7. If I can convince you just to turn it off most of the day, I'm just telling you, you'll eliminate so much of the negativity and the stressors in your life if you just turn TV off. Again, removing the negativity. If you've got to start hiding people on Facebook because they keep starting conversations that turn into ugly discourses where people are just starting to be so hateful, every day I see that. And every day I'm hiding or unfriending more people because it's just not healthy for you. You don't need that. Remove negativity. If there are people in your life who are like that, maybe you need to really minimize your exposure to them and just not be with them so much. So really, in any case that you can, in any way that you can, remove the negativity in your life immediately, and that will make so much difference. So here's the bottom line. If you're not doing the things that make you happy because you're so afraid of what people are going to think, you're not living your life to the fullest. And like I said, you've only got one. No do-overs. If you want your life to be the life that at the end of it, you can just be totally content because you don't feel like there are a million things that you were left undone. If you're okay saying, my life could end any time because I really tried living each day to the fullest, I really did that to the best of my ability, that's the life you want to live, right? Do you really want to live your life with regrets and fear that you didn't do things? And how many things didn't you do because you were afraid of what people were going to think? My gosh, whether it's moving to an area, people are going to say, are you crazy? And you think, oh, they're probably right. Maybe I should stay here. Whatever. There are so many decisions you make in your life based on what other people are going to think that you've missed out on a lot. So stop doing that. Stop doing that now. Today going forward, start thinking twice about caring so much about what people think. When you're posting, think twice about whether or not you need to make sure you tell everybody you had your mask on and you were 6 feet apart from everybody when you were out. You don't have to say that. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to be worried about what other people think. Because if they think something wrong because you didn't say and they didn't know, it's none of their business to start with. So think about that. So I'm closing with a quote by Richard Branson. And it says, I'd rather look back on life and say, I can't believe I did that, than I wish I did that. Okay, so think about that. Bunny, not a dress rehearsal. Live life, enjoy, be kind and caring to you and others. That closes this better than anything I could have said. Thank you, Bunny. Okay, ladies, go out, live your best life. Have a great day. Have a great week. And I will see you here same time next week. And again, if you have any ideas, anything you'd like to talk about, let me know. I'd love to do that. Okay, have a great day. Bye.